It seems that everywhere you look, someone is getting sued for something. On top of all the regular concerns that accompany construction projects, expensive lawsuits due to owner negligence on job sites can add even more stress. Join me and US Assure's underwriting manager, Diane Burdorf, as we discuss 6 things you should know about premises liability insurance. In insurance, what you don't know can have a major impact on your clients and your E&O. To ensure you're ready to present the right options to your construction clients, here are 6 things you'll need to know about the premises liability policy offered through US Assure. Number 1, what premises liability covers. Number 2, what sets it apart from general liability and owner-contractor protective. Number 3, who buys it. Number 4, when should you secure it? Number 5, how premises liability complements builder's risk insurance. And 6, what you need to know to quote. So let's get into them. Number 1, what premises liability covers. So, Diane, tell us about the premises liability product offered through US Assure.
Well, our premises liability coverage is a great complement to our builder's risk policy. It protects the owner for anybody that may come onto the property and perhaps slip and fall, and it could be an invited guest, it could be a vendor, it could even be a trespasser. So there could be medical expenses, and also it protects the insured against a suit if one is brought against him.
And now, to get a little more specific, Number 2, what sets premises liability apart from general liability and owner-contractor protective? Diane, would you explain the differences to us?
Well, premises liability has to be in the name of the owner. It cannot be in the name of the contractor. So whoever owns the property, that's who the premises liability has to be written in. General liability is coverage for a business that could have claims arising out of it, and it provides bodily injury and property damage and personal injury coverage and some advertising injury. And owner contractor's protective, that is written in the name of the project owner, and it protects them for any things that the contractors or subcontractors might be negligent in doing.
Well, now that we've clarified what this coverage is and is not, let's talk about eligibility. Number 3, who buys premises liability coverage? Walk us through this, Diane.
Well, the people that are purchasing a home and having a home built would benefit from buying a premises liability policy, because the builder's risk policy protects them for the structure. But they need protection if someone would come onto that property and slip and fall and get injured. The owner of that property is going to be responsible. So the premises liability protects the insured from those financial responsibilities.
So if clients don't own the property, they aren't eligible for coverage, right?
That is correct, Katie. They have to own the property.
And so which properties qualify for coverage?
Anybody that's having a home built and they're the owner, they would qualify. Or if they're having property, their structure is being renovated, they could also benefit from purchasing a premises liability policy.
So what about commercial clients? Would they be eligible too?
Oh yes, absolutely. For instance, somebody who purchased a building, say for instance they purchased a building, they want to turn it into a bakery. So they're having the building renovated, and they could have a lot of different people coming onto that site while it's being renovated. They could have guests coming on there, they could have vendors, they could have electricians coming on there. So if anybody steps on that property and something were to happen to them, the owner could be held responsible. For absolutely, your commercial would benefit as well.
Number 4, when should you secure premises liability insurance? So we know who can be covered, but when should an agent secure premises liability?
Well, the perfect time, Katie, is when the insured requests a builder's risk policy. If a customer's having a new home built or they're having a home renovated, that's the perfect opportunity for the agent to sell them a premises liability policy and explain to them that anyone that comes onto that property, as we said before, it could be a vendor, it could be a trespasser. If they fall and they get hurt, then the owner is responsible for that. They're responsible for their medical payments, any lawsuits. So this definitely, as soon as possible, they should get that premises liability in place, because you never know what's going to happen.
And this brings us to number 5, how premises liability complements our builder's risk program. Because the builder's risk plan insured by Zurich does not include slip and fall coverage, our separate and standalone premises liability policy is designed to complement the scope of coverage. Diane, can you walk us through some possible scenarios when agents could cross-sell the two policies?
Well, sure, Katie. Again, when they're, in that buying process, if they hear their customer saying, I'm thinking about having a house built, and this customer, for instance, does not have any type of a liability policy, because your homeowner's policies may not always extend to this other property. So that would be the perfect time for the agent, if they see their customer is, buying a property, they're renovating a property, they definitely need to get in there and talk to them about premises liability, because they also need to educate their insured about the possibilities of what could happen if you do not purchase it.
So can you give us an example of that?
Well, say for instance, the agent gets a call from their insured, Charlie, and he says, hey, look, I'm purchasing a fixer-upper, and I went to the bank to get my construction loan, and the bank told me I need to purchase a builder's risk policy. So he's telling the agent this, and then the bank also asked him, do you have a premises liability policy? So he goes, well, no, I don't. So he's calls his agent, talks to his agent about it, and his agent mentions you should definitely purchase a premises liability in conjunction with the builder's risk policy. The builder's risk policy is going to protect the remodeling on the project, whereas the premises liability is going to protect you from any financial expenses you may incur if someone were to get hurt.
Number 6, what you need to know when quoting premises liability insurance. Diane, do you have some insights to share?
I do. When you are online quoting, remember premises liability will be a separate policy from the builder's risk policy. Premises liability, the carrier that we use for that, Diamond State, is an A-rated carrier. And then we have Zurich for our builder's risk program, which is also an A-rated carrier. Also, if you are in the site for premises liability, if you have any problems navigating through the site, you certainly can call our service team. They will be happy to help you and walk you through anything. And then we also have our Vacant Express underwriters who can answer any questions for the program or the coverages. They're very well versed on the program.
And so whether it's a product that you're getting from Zurich, from Diamond State, so on and so forth, that you're still coming through US Assure, you're still working with our team, the team that you know. So you always kind of have that, right?
Absolutely, Katie.
And can you quote and issue the policy online?
Yes, you can, Katie.
And that's it. Armed with these 6 insights, you have the tools you need to discuss the product with your client, protect their interests, and safeguard your E&O. Ready to start quoting premises liability? We can help. Download our tip sheet for insights to guide you through our online policy issuance platform. You'll see the link in the video description.